Hello everyone. Hello everyone. So this call is about, this is the training part. Is about when to train weaker muscles first, right? Um, because just because you're lifting heavier, it does not mean, it doesn't always mean better results, right? Because you gotta do it properly, right? Yes, just because you're lifting heavier doesn't mean the right muscle is getting stronger, right? Um, and but that's not always true because just because you're lifting more weight doesn't mean the right muscle is getting stronger. It just means your body found a way to move more weight. So your body's goal is not to build the muscle you want, it's to move efficiently, conserve energy, and use what's already strongest, right? Um, if you want to build your glutes or tone your arms or shape your body, your body's goal is efficiency. It will always use whatever muscles are strongest, right, to get the job done. Um, yeah, it's to also use what's already strongest. So what happens when you increase the weight? Oh shit, is it recording? Okay. When you increase the weight, your body recruits the strongest available muscles to complete the lift, not the target muscle. Does that make sense? Um, so for example, yeah, how do I move this thing around? Okay, yeah, what usually happens, you add weight, strong muscles take over, and then target muscles stays the same. So you may be wondering, like, why is my glutes not growing? Maybe why is my arms not growing, right? So, examples are glutes vs quads. So if your quads are stronger than your glutes, every time you squat, your quads are going to take over. Your glutes is your behind, your quads is basically your thighs, right? So yes, if your quads are stronger than your glutes, every time you squat, your quads are going to take over. So yes, your squat is getting stronger, but your glutes, they're not really changing, right? So yeah, you may think, okay, my squat is getting heavier, my glutes must be growing, but in reality, the quads is taking over and your glutes are just along with the rate. So your weight goes up, but glutes doesn't change, right? So, yeah, especially if you wanna. Another thing is back vs your arms, right? If your biceps are stronger than your back, for example, you'll feel rows in your arms instead of your back. Because when you do any type of rows, you're supposed to feel it in your back, not in your arms, right? Yes, your arms will still be used, but you're supposed to feel it more in your back. So squeeze your back more, right? When you do a row. So again, you're lifting heavier, but not building the shape you actually want, or the V shape, right? And not seeing muscle definition in your back, especially if you lost more fat, because your biceps are doing most of the work and your back isn't being challenged properly. Another is okay. Another is okay. Yes. Oopa. Another is chest via shoulders. You think my presses are improving, right? So when you do a press, right? Like a push up or a press or a chest press, right? You feel your front delts are dominating. Like, okay. You feel your front delts are dominating, which is this part, but the chest barely contributes, right? So when you do a press, you should feel it in your chest, here, here, not here, right? Your shoulders. Yeah. So, how do we fix this then? Fix number one train your target muscle first. But first of all, the truth that shifts everything is strength is a full body adaptation, not always a muscle specific one. Because your nervous system is learning how to stabilize better, how to recruit more muscles, and how to coordinate movement. But that doesn't guarantee the right muscle is improving, right? And just because you're progressing doesn't mean what you're doing must be working. That's why always send me your form videos or book a call with me to review your form, right? But yeah, just because you're progressing doesn't mean what you're doing must be working. So you keep adding weight, keep repeating the same patterns, and then reinforce the imbalance. The result is same body shape, same weak areas, and same frustration. So, the fix. We don't stop them from progressing. We control how they progress. Number 1. The fix is train the target muscle first, right? Make the target muscle the limiting factor. The set should end because the target muscle is tired, not because your whole body gave out. Does that make sense? Yeah. So the first thing we do is to train the muscle you actually want to grow first, because that's when you have the most energy, the most focus, and the best execution, right? So example, instead of squats until legs are tired, do pre-fatigue glutes, then squat, right? So yeah, do like hip abductions, for example, or what do you call it? Like a glute bridge, and then do the hip abduction with the band, right? So do that first and then squat, right? Now your glutes fatigue first, and then your glutes will grow, right? Hope that makes sense. Fix number 2, make target muscle the limiting factor. So reduce weight to improve recruitment, right? Make that muscle the limiting factor. What we want is for the sets to end because that muscle is tired, not because your whole body gave out, right? If you can't, and this is where most women and people resist, right? If you can't feel the right muscle working, the weight is too heavy for your current control. Yeah. So we are not chasing weight, we're chasing tension in the right place. Yeah, you cannot just keep on adding weights and then maybe one area is weaker, right? You have to feel the right muscle working, and like I said, that's why always book a call with me or send me your form videos to feel if your muscles are working, right? Fix number 3, slow down your reps. Okay, yeah, so glute activation, glute exercise first, and then compound movement. So a glute activation is like a glute bridge, and then a hip abduction together with it, right? So just keep a glute bridge position, and then do the hip abduction, right? Squeeze, and then maybe you can start doing hip bridges up and down, and then now do the compound movement like a squat with the barbells, right? Does that make sense? So, fix number 3, definitely slow down your reps and lower weight to improve your reps. And what's the word? Because speed hides compensation, right? Reduce the weight. Because if you cannot feel the right muscle working, the weight is too heavy for your current level of control. We should not be chasing weight ever. I mean, okay, it's nice to increase weight and hit PRs, but it's important to do it properly. So the more heavy you lift, the harder it will be, right? Or your core needs to be braced, all of that stuff. We gotta chase tension in the right place, not ego lift, right? And then injure ourselves, right? So for example, instead of 3 seconds down, and especially if that got easier, do like 3 seconds down. Okay, so instead do like a 3 seconds down and then 1 to 2 seconds squeeze. So while you're down there, when you do a squat, for example, do like, let's say, a 2 second squeeze to make it more challenging. This removes momentum and forces the right muscle to work. Does that make sense? Yeah. Fix number 4, yeah. Lock in positioning. Your setup determines which muscle works, right? Basically slow everything down. Speed heights compensation, right? So if you are rushing your reps, your stronger muscles are just taking over again instead of working on the weaker muscles. So instead, slow it down, control the movement, and actually own every rep, right? Quality over quantity. Yeah. Example, when you do your glutes, your body should be slightly forward and then push through your heels, okay? And then when you do like a chest press, for example, chest up, right? That's when you see me do a chest press. My back is always arched, right? That will activate the chest more. And then pull elbows back, not hands. I should show videos of that next time. But yes, you get the gist, right? When you do a chest press, your back should be arched, so your chest is more activated. That way you pull your elbows back and not your hands. Use your elbows to lift, not your hands, right? Ba ba ba. Right? 3 seconds down, pause, and controlled up. Fix number 5, use unilateral work to fix imbalances. What I mean by that is like, unilateral work is like, instead of a compound, okay, like lunges, for example, they're one side at a time, right? So if one side is stronger, it will always take over unless you train each side individually, right? Unilateral work will expose your imbalances, right? So add like single leg work, single arm rows, for example. This forces balance, right? So single arm rows, yeah, lunges, B stands, RDLs, right? B stands, Romanian deadlift, right? So you're working one leg at a time to make both sides strong, right? So that's why we always should not rush. It's quality over quantity. Yes. So if the wrong muscle is doing the work, you're just getting better at the wrong pattern, right? It's like trying to grow your glutes, but your quads keep volunteering to do the job. They're overachievers, but they're not the ones we hired, right? Because you can build a very strong body, but with poor muscle development. And this is why some people can lift heavy, but don't look as toned, right? Because shape comes from which muscles are developed, not just strength. So we're not just building strength here, we're building the right shape, right? So I'm curious, where do you feel this exercise the most? Let me know and post it in the in the group chat in Trainerize, and also in my free community on wherever you are, Facebook or IG, right? And is that where you want to feel it? So when you're doing a squat, let me know, where are you feeling it the most? It should be your glutes more than your quads. Yeah. And if you're doing a goblet squat, for sure you'll feel it more in your quads over your glutes, right? Because more weight doesn't mean better results, but better execution does, right? So yeah, because strength alone doesn't create shape, it's which muscles you develop and improve over time is what creates shape. So if you've ever felt like there's a part of your body that just isn't changing the way you want it to, even though you are very consistent, this is usually why. It's not that you're not working hard enough, it's that your body is just working in a way that's not aligned with your goals. And this is exactly what we focus on in my program, right? We don't just train harder, we train with intention, because more weight doesn't mean better results, but better execution does. Yes, we gotta chase tension in the right place. And if the wrong muscle is doing the work, you're just reinforcing the wrong result, right? So yeah, that's it for now. And let me know what was your biggest takeaway, and make sure to post it in the the Trainerize group chat, and also the free group chat in my community. Alright, that's it for now, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!